Hey everybody, Comic Crack. So, I did a video where I had mentioned a character that I missed, and that character was the Spectre. And then Reader1717 had made a comment, and Spiro had made a comment, and etc, etc. So here we are, down in the basement, and I was going to go through the few Dead Man books that lead right into the Spectre books that I have. Maybe a couple of words here and there. It's a series I'd like to get back into. I know I have some gaps in the later volumes, so I'm curious to maybe start digging for those, and maybe kind of, I don't know, I'm contemplating maybe rereading the whole series from the earliest that I have all the way down. So we'll just kind of get right into it. Dead Man mini-series there. That's number 1. I believe these are all reprints. Number 2, some Neil Adams stuff. And number 3, kind of the whole origin of Dead Man and how he came to be who he is. Great cover there. And number 5, with some Batman. Number 6. Hopefully you can see these okay. Number 7, I Am Alive. I just love the use of the whole full page on these. It just looks really good. And I mean, you know, as I'm coming to understand about some artists as I get older, Neil Adams did some good shit. And then another 4-part miniseries. Number 1, with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Andrew Helfer. Helfer, Helfer. There's number 2. And there's number 3, love that cover. And number 4. And for a while I was pretty obsessed with Kelly Jones. Mike Baron, Kelly Jones, and Les Dorscheid. So this is Love After Death, book number 1. And book number 2, which then led into Mike Baron and Kelly Jones doing Exorcism, which was fantastic as well. I love Kelly Jones' take on some characters. Dead Man is a fantastic one by him for sure. I like Kelly Jones' Batman as well too. I used to have a statue that was Kelly Jones' take on Batman, which was phenomenal. So that's it for pretty much for the kind of Dead Man. Now is Secret Origins starring the Spectre and Dead Man. So is what it is pretty much. The only Ghosts issue that I have are really beat up. Issue number 97 with Dr. 13, the Ghostbreaker, versus the Spectre. And then an annual, which I think was this one needed to be replaced. This one had some water damage, my own fault on this one. I'd got it kind of brand new, and so this is one that I have on an ever-growing list of things to replace. Some reprints of some older Spectre stories. The Wrath of the Spectre, 4-issue miniseries. And number 2. Number 3. With Corrigan rising from the grave there. And number 4. Another one that's a bit damaged. I can feel it wrinkling. Kills me a little, but that's okay. So anyway, now this series is the series of the Spectre that I got into. So this is April 1987, and I would have been reading these and buying these off the rack in 87. So these are all mine from when they were coming out. I just remember trying out a couple of the issues, and it just really appealing to me. I like the kind of horror-ish aspect of it. I like the private eye aspect. I like the kind of vengeance aspect. And then sometimes he got a little cosmic, and the kind of God's aspect of it, even though I think in a comment, and probably what you'll hear later on, even though I'm definitely, as Ricky Gervais would say, it's weird how God made me an atheist. Later on in the series, there was another volume where I felt it got a little too kind of into religion and religious, and that's kind of why I dropped it at the time. My attitudes on religion haven't changed, but I think my outlook is a little different, so I'd love to give those another chance to see if I can get past some of that. But back to this one, when I was reading it, this was probably the only kind of superhero book, if you can call it that. This was the only superhero book that I was reading at the time. But I loved it. Well, actually, that's probably not true. It would have been this and Shade the Changing Man, I think, was happening at around the same time, possibly. So I would have been reading that as well. But I remember taking a trip driving down to Florida with the family, and along the way, I'd found a couple of issues filling in some gaps and things, or ones that were just new to the book, new to the book racks, and picking them up to read them right away. So there's Doug Mensch and Gene Colan, I believe, right? Spectre number 1. And there's number 2, and if you haven't read this series, it's just really, really cool. I mean, there's some issues that aren't as good. Some coming up right away, but the covers were all pretty fantastic. And like I said, it was just something about the character and the story that really, really worked for me, It didn't seem like the usual kind of superhero book. So there's number 6. I like the magic aspect of it, with Zatanna and people in there too. So number 7, number 8, number 9, and then a couple of tie-ins to the whole Millennium mini-series or event, I guess, that was going on, which I now have all of them, and my son and I had started in on the Millennium sometime early last year, probably. We only made it a couple of weeks into the event, and we kind of, I don't know if it just kind of lost steam, or we lost interest, or there was just other things that we had chosen to read, but we kind of gave up on it. Beautiful cover there. I love the colors on that one. The sunset behind him. Number 13. Number 14. And 15. See, my battery light is flashing, so if it ends abruptly, you'll see a very sloppy cut. Number 17, you'll see a very sloppy cut, then you'll be able to see the rest of the issues, but we'll just keep going as long as we can. 18, 19, and 20. 21. Yeah, I guess, just looking at a cover like that, it just reminds me that I guess it probably, because I would have been reading Vertigo and titles like that at the time too, that would have been my approach to superhero comics. And I think the other thing that appealed to me about this one was that it still kind of bridged that gap between the kind of superhero books and Vertigo. So that would have really been a big draw for me as well too, because then it didn't feel like I was invested into this superhero world that I didn't like. And there was a lot of, obviously, with everybody going through times of dislike for certain genres and comics and things, just didn't fall into as many of the traps. I mean, again, obviously we've seen some tie-ins with events already, but it still handled it pretty well, and it didn't seem to rock the world so much. So this was the story arc that I think I wasn't as crazy about, this Ghosts in the Machine. It's part 1 of 6, so number 24. 25. 26. 27. Blasted with DVDs, or CDs rather, sorry, CDs. 28. So this is now reaching the end of 1989 already, so here's number 29. And then number 30. Pretty great cover. 31. And of the whole run, these later ones were the, like, besides that Ghost in the Machine, the kind of, the way it ended and everything I thought was really great. I really liked the way it all tied up, so. And then a good old Zero issue from October of 1994. So then we get in with the next volume. Again, I don't know how the volumes work. I don't know the that's glow-in-the-dark cover. I don't know the history that well of him, unfortunately. So there's number 1 of the next one. So this is now, what does it say? December 1992. Number 2. And again, this is John Ostrander and Tom Mandrake responsible for this series. And same thing, I remember just loving this, you know. 3, number 4. I wish I could remember more details about the books for you. It's one of those things, time has plagued memory. Number 5. Number 6, beautiful cover there. Love that one. Number 7. Another amazing cover. It's just really, really great stuff. A glow-in-the-dark, a number 8. Oh, you can't see it's a signed. Let me just see here. Limited treasure editions. Certificate of authenticity, number 606 of 1100. Signed by writer John Ostrander and artist Tom Mandrake. I doubt it's worth much. It just, because of being a fan, I saw this available at the comic shop and wanted to get myself a copy of that, and then I got just a copy that I ended up reading as well. Glow-in-the-dark covers again, number 9. Number 10. Really cool cover there. Number 11. Number 12. Glow-in-the-dark again, number 13. 14. 15. 16. These have all 17. These have all survived fairly well too. Really flat. I mean, they look pretty great overall, just from a look through the bag. There's number 18. Yeah, still looks pretty spectacular. And the next pile here. Number 19. So great. $20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Hey, look, there's a probably a Christmas issue that could have been for the Christmas tag. But it said February 1995, so 27. So now we're into 1995, 28. This is April of that year. May. Very strange cover, that one. Kind of great. Kind of reminds me of something that might be on the front cover of an Axe comic. 30. Looks like a Kelly Jones cover to me. 31. And not a very good one to boot. 32. 33. Oh, hey, look at that. Johnson. So that would be the 100 Bullets. This is number 34. 35. It's amazing kind of going through some of the older books and stuff and seeing names that I'm really familiar with now that I just wasn't at the time, due partially to just kind of a lack of knowledge about more mainstream books, and then more than likely also due to the fact that these guys weren't as huge back then. 38, love that cover. Can't see a name. Unfortunately, no. Just having a quick look. Yeah, I don't see a name on that one, but I really like that one. 39. 40. 41, another killer cover. Olivetti, I think is what that says. 42. 43. 44. 45. Wow, that's a great one too. Looks very Corbin-ish, but it also looks like it's actual models. Wow, I haven't looked through these forever. I don't know if that picks up, but it looks like just a photograph of some figures. Really, really cool. 46, another beautiful one. 47. December 1996 here with number 48. 49. And 50. The last few here. 51. 52. 53. That's a Corbin for sure, hey? Yeah, absolutely. 54. 55. 56. This might be the volume that I'll have to reread. 57. 58, and it looks like we're reaching the end. So that means that the volume, I guess the series that I wasn't too keen on, I must have sold them or traded them in for other books. So it's good that I've got the complete run, so that makes it easier when I'm going to track down the next volume, because I believe this, yeah, right there, final issue, number 62. So there we have it. There's a quick look at the Spectre books. I hope you enjoyed that. I wish I had more information for you, other than I'd say if you don't know the Spectre, go check it out.